So, welcome to This Big Meaningful Life. This is a segment that we're doing to highlight purpose and calling and dreams that people have. So I will be joined when we do these by someone who's been doing some fun things. We'll get to hear from them, and hopefully that inspires us towards our dreams and callings and purposes as well. So I want to welcome Liz Archambault. Is that how you say your last name? I almost never.
That was excellent.
Okay. Liz and I met through a play group many years ago, and she works with the Forgotten Initiative here in Quincy in the South Shore. And actually, I'll just let her tell you a little bit about it. So tell us about the Forgotten Initiative.
So the Forgotten Initiative is a national organization which is across the country, and not all 50 states, but a bunch of them. And it seeks to mobilize the church to serve the foster care community. And there's 4 groups that it's looking to work with. And it's kids in foster care, birth parents, children aging out of the system. Those 2 are grouped together as vulnerable adults. And then number 3 is agency workers, and number 4 is foster parents.
Yay! Thank you so much. So how did you first get involved with the Forgotten Initiative? What brought you to that?
It was actually my own personal journey. And so I knew I wanted to be a social worker when I was 11. But it was always going to be the job I did during the day. So I would do that from 9 to 5, and it would be hard, and it would be emotional, and it would be painful. But then I would go home to my house and my family, and it would somehow stay there, which I don't think is true for any social worker.
Right.
But when my husband and I got married, I gave birth to our first daughter, and we realized that there were children that needed homes, and that we had love and a home to offer, and that we wanted to be part of that. And so it became not something that I did at work. I actually went into working with older adults in a hospital setting, so it has nothing to do with my professional day job, but it became really our family. It was our life. It started there. And then when our son, who we brought home from foster care, was about 2, I thought, you know what, our home is finite. There's only so many rooms, so many beds, honestly, so much bandwidth and parenting capacity and energy that we had to offer. But there were so many more kids that needed a safe home. And so how could we be a part of mobilizing a larger community? Not necessarily to be foster parents themselves, because there are many different ways to be involved, but how could we be a part in helping those children and foster parents and social workers get the support they needed?
Yeah. And in fact, you may hear noise in this space that we are, because there are 4 children below us watching a movie right now. So that may creep into the audio. But this is how it is. There's always lots of people. So you sort of talked about how you always, from 11 years old on, you wanted to do this. So did it evolve even more, as time has gone on tell me more.
Yeah, it did. So I didn't know foster care ministry existed. That was an amazing moment for me when I first learned of the Forgotten Initiative, because my faith in God is the reason that I felt called and decided to pursue foster care as part of our life. But I didn't have a sense that this was something. I knew there was the foster care system, and I knew there was my church. I didn't know that these 2 things could come together. And so that was an exciting moment for me too, to say, okay, this is the reason why I'm doing this. And here are resources that can help to support. Before I found out about the Forgotten Initiative, we were doing emergency foster care. So what that meant, this was after our son had joined us, but we would have someone join us for just a night or a weekend or sometimes upwards of a week, but it was temporary. And when these children would come to our home, sometimes at 3 a.m, they would come oftentimes with very little. They didn't have many belongings that they could bring with them from the home, clothes that were safe and clean, and things that the social workers felt would be appropriate to bring to our home. Yeah. At the same time, I was in a group for mothers of preschoolers, which I'm still happy to be a part of. And there were so many parents in that group, so many moms that were just trying to move things along. Their kids had outgrown clothes. They were trying to move things on. And so what I saw this tangible resource of the clothing, and then I saw this need in my own home of these kids that were looking for clothes. And I thought there must be other foster parents out there who are doing this kind of care and don't have that resource. Well, meanwhile, there's folks who are just trying to get it out of their basements. So our basement turned into the South Shore foster care closet.
That's so great.
Because we just thought, hey, we just need to get the resources in the hands of the people that need them. And we did that for a bit, and then I met 2 other foster parents, and they had a passion to take this further than I could have. And they spun off a nonprofit, which allowed me to get involved in other types of work and do some of this relational ministry. And so I'm so thankful to them. That is the South Shore Foster Care Closet now at a location in Duxbury. But to see how that was their true passion, and they had the giftedness to take that in directions I would not have been able to. And I was able to do this work that evolved into more of this relational ministry.
Yeah. That is really great. And actually personally benefited, right? Because we took a child in and we had a 2-week notice. And she literally came to the space that I was at and brought bags and bags of things. And I was just overwhelmed with amazingness. Because I'm from Wisconsin, right? Where there's just children coming out your ears and the child everywhere. But a lot of the environments I've been in here haven't been that way until I started running with Liz's circle. And so now, once again, there are children coming out of our ears. So yes, that was a very useful, there was no way we could pull everything together. We've gotten rid of all the baby stuff, so it's pretty exciting. So tell me a little bit, there's got to be times that are difficult, like adversity that comes up. How do you deal with that? How do you get through it?
The 2 biggest challenges are time and building trust in relationships. So the time is our own time. It's having a 5, 3, and 1-year-old. It's both working outside of the home. It's, spending spare moments here and there to do this work of the Forgotten Initiative, to have meetings both with our local agency and with churches. Because what we're trying to do is be this bridge between the agency and then also the churches. And so that takes a lot of just meetings and collaborations and things like that. So there's just the logistical piece of the time, but the relationship piece is what makes it work. It's building that trust. And so that also requires time, and it's doing it with people who are busy themselves. So these agency workers have incredibly challenging jobs that don't have a lot of spare time. And we're also coming in as these outsiders who are saying, hey, we want to help, but we need to be educated in order to do that. Would you be willing to be vulnerable with us about the needs of this community so that we can connect you with people who want to help but just don't know how to help yet? Mm-hmm. So that has been one of the greatest challenges, is connecting those 2. But the reason that we continue to do it is because we believe that every child is worth fighting for. And we know that need, that there are not enough homes right now.
Yeah.
And so that's what inspires us to keep going. The fact that we believe that every child is a beloved child of God, that children are in foster care because of nothing that they have done, because the birth parents often were in foster care themselves, that this is something that it's going to take a larger community to be a part of. And so I think the awareness leads to action, that people want to help, but they don't necessarily know where to plug in to help. And so we want to be a part of sharing with them what needs to be done, because we know that it's unacceptable to all of us. None of us want to see kids not having a safe place to call home. It's just about spreading the awareness of how to do that, and that's where we believe God is calling us to let people know, here's where the help is needed. And we don't know that. We have to go to the agency and ask them where the help is needed and what's most needed.
Yeah, I understand. Right, we've had meetings with children climbing everywhere and trying to fit it into the recesses of a day with everybody's work schedule. So I absolutely hear that. So as you look back on this journey so far, right, we're very much in process with it, but are there people that have been super helpful along the way? Is there anyone that stands out as, man, without this person or this experience?
I think it's about taking the first step. I mean, that's a thing that's been helpful. And then just trusting God that if He is calling us to something, that we're not going to be left alone in that. And that Just continuing in prayer to say, okay, God, is this still the direction? Is this still, and please redirect me if this is not the course. I think I shared at the very beginning that originally this was going to be something outside of our family, right? We'll help, we'll serve, but we're going to sort of protect our own little family from this because it could hurt me, it could hurt my kids, there could be some sort of negative impact. So we're going to keep that on the outside. And it wasn't until we literally opened the doors of our home. One of the things that encouraged us to keep going was my own children. Yeah. When I saw our daughter, who I gave birth to 2 years before we began our foster care journey, she was saying things like, Mama, I wish that we had more rooms or more beds in our home so that we could have more kids join us. Mm-hmm. When I saw our 2 younger children join us from the foster care system, and not only how seamlessly they fit into our family, in the sense that it was clear to me that no matter how long, our youngest is currently still in foster care, no matter how long that she continues to be with us, there's no question in my mind that she is supposed to be with us right now, not because of the way we're helping her, but because she's clearly such a part of our family. But then also recognizing that this is something that the heart of it, is worth it. It's worth it for the sake of the child, but it's also worth it because it enriches our life right now. It's this adventure, it's this journey that if we hadn't done it, it just would have paled in comparison to what life would have looked like. And so now being on the other side of that it's really exciting to say, I'm so glad we said yes, because life has been so much better since then.
Yeah. No, I relate to that. Makes a lot of sense. So if you were to look back at, a younger version of yourself, are there things you would want to tell yourself, like things that you know now that you wish you would have known then?
Mm-hmm. So to know that you will not need to know how to do all of the things. I have been so encouraged by the enthusiasm, by the energy, and the skill sets of the people in our community that have been a part of the Forgotten Initiative at the different churches, because they've known how to do things that I don't know how to do, and it turns out I didn't know how to do them because they came forward. Yeah. One example is there was a foster mom who she's an older foster mom who had a huge tree just fall in her backyard, and she couldn't have moved this on her own. And so a local youth group had the energy of these high schoolers that were willing to spend a Saturday working on this tree, but they also didn't have the know-how. But we had a volunteer at one of our churches say, I've got the equipment, I know how to cut down trees. And so seeing groups like that come together, that's the kind of thing where I've said, okay, this isn't just about me. It doesn't just need me, and it can't just need me. Like I said, I'm limited in what I know how to do, what I have the energy and the time to do.
Yeah.
But there's a Winston Churchill quote that I think about, which is, he was held back in school. So he had to do one of the grades in school 2 years. And when asked, what that felt like to him in terms of a failure, he said, I don't see it as a failure. I see it as I got 2 opportunities to get it right. And he said what Britain needed wasn't brilliance, but perseverance. And so I would tell that younger self to persevere. And also something that I'm grateful for is, in the past, I would be pretty concerned about my appearance in doing something. I would want to get it right the first time because I didn't want to look bad doing it. I didn't want to look foolish doing something. And I just care a whole lot less about that now. And I think the reason is because I have the awareness that there is a child who is being removed from their home, from everything that's familiar, from familiar smells, from familiar toys and clothes, from the only life that they've ever known. And they're being brought to another place where they don't know any of the people, they don't know if it's going to be safe. And then there are social workers that are working tirelessly to bring these children to places where they don't know what the future is going to hold from them either. And there's birth parents who say, I don't know if I'm ever going to see my child again.
Right.
I don't know what the future's going to look like for my life. There's children who are turning 21 who've known, going through maybe 10, maybe 20 different homes in foster care, and they're turning 21 and saying, what is my adult life going to look like? So all of a sudden, it's become a whole lot less important to me if I look foolish or if I mess up, because it's realizing that people are doing incredibly hard things, and I can take a risk because it's worth it.
Yeah.
Because if it can change the trajectory, and the reality is that, there's a lot of kids. Yes, there are too many kids than there are homes, but one family is all that's needed for that one kid.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. And just so all of you know, the links to the Forgotten Initiative will be available in the comments section and in the description on the YouTube page, so that if you want to be in touch, you can. So Liz will get me all that information, and it'll be available for you if you have more questions and things like that. But it's so good. I'm so thankful to have you and to have you come and chat with me like this. So,
well, it's our passion to connect with people at the Forgotten Initiative. So like Christina said, never hesitate to reach out to us. We love having conversations about how we can all come together as a community.
Yeah. Yay. So again, thank you very much for watching, and in the meantime, hopefully this is meaningful and inspiring for you, so that if there are passions and dreams and hopes inside of you, that this kind of spurs you on to go and do those things. And until next time, we'll see you later.